authorizes the Island County prosecuting attorney to bring appropriate legal action to confirm and restore the county's and public's Wonn Road access to the beach, tidelands, and water. And I believe we have someone from Public Works is going to give us a presentation. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think Randy went upstairs, didn't he?
No.
Oh, there he is.
Brackett.
Oh, you were there a minute ago. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Assistant County Engineer, standing in for Bill Oakes. What you have before you is a resolution regarding the county's interest in that portion of Wonn Road, historically also known as Greenbank Road, eastward end from North Bluff Road to the water's edge there. This road, in fact, has a very colorful history, and I think it's something of a testament both to events over time, but also to our historical use of waterfront access. This island initially had water traffic principally, and it was only after decades of initial use that then roads began to appear on Whidbey Island, as is the case on Camano Island. Through our research and the assistance of the prosecuting attorney's office, we've determined that the county does have an interest, a continuing interest in this portion of the roadway, and thereby we recommend that the commissioners approve this resolution, C-34-09, with which to defend that interest through court quiet claim action, quiet title action.
Okay. Thank you, Randy. We are going to welcome some public comment from you. I understand that Mr. Bruce or Dr. Bruce Montgomery is here, and also Glenn Russell. I'd like to give kind of priority to those two. Can I have a show of hands? Anyone else who would like to address the board on this issue? Okay, just one. That's great. Well, we have plenty of time then. Yes, sir.
Bruce Montgomery.
Bruce, nice to meet you. I'm sorry we haven't met. Come on up.
Good afternoon. I'm Bruce Montgomery, and I'm the landowner of the tidelands at the end of Wonn Road. I'd first like to compliment the professionalism of Sheriff Brown and thank the activists for respecting my private property during their demonstration on Saturday. My view of the situation is that filing a lawsuit is a lose-lose for the county. The legalities are complicated, and the county has stated that the records are murky. I find it curious that they never asked to review my 50-year collection of documents, including a legal opinion from the county prosecutor's office given to the former owner, conceding the county has no claim to over half the property. In addition, the county subsequently acknowledged private ownership to tidelands in question in a dispute with the state over possible leasing of tidelands for shellfish harvesting. Further complicating any claims is 98 years of tax-paying private ownership. Clearly, this is not a sure win for the county, and for that matter for me, as all litigation is problematic. If the county loses, they have spent a large amount of money on nothing, and the activists will still not be contented. Finger-pointing will be rampant, and other taxpayers will have a fair complaint. Winning for the county is also a lose. The contested piece of tidelands is actually north of the old pilings. The dream of rebuilding the dock for access to the Greenbank farm would not be possible. The tidelands are large rocks, and as a kayak owner, very unsafe and practical to launch there. This is not a boat launch area. Access to a narrow strip of beach does not prevent adjacent property owners from posting no trespassing signs, so walks on the beach are also unlikely. So how can we turn this into a win-win? I'd rather spend my money helping the county secure a piece of beach that is usable than paying lawyers, and I'm willing to contribute a significant amount of money and help fundraise to secure beach access for my fellow citizens. However, I will not likely be as generous as I've spent my money fighting a lawsuit. I ask you to table this resolution, have a committee headed by Helen Price Johnson, including the activists and other residents of Greenbank Beach, to try to work out a win-win deal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Montgomery. Glenn, did you want to speak next?
Honorable Commissioners, my name is Glenn Russell. I am a 37-year resident of Greenbank and a spokesman for Save Our Beaches. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. The Greenbank Public Access is an irreplaceable community treasure. Historically and culturally, it is our Plymouth Rock, the landing from which our community grew. Economically, it is critical to Greenbank and the Greenbank Farm. It is good for business. It is our marine access to the sheltered waters of Holmes Harbor and the sea. It has the potential to become an international cruising destination. The soundings at the head of the old wharf are 13 feet deeper than the adjacent water. There is sheltered anchorage to the south. The Board of Commissioners has before it today a proposition that will correct 38 years of neglect and illegal encroachment. If this access is lost, Greenbank will be landlocked. I bring here to present to you a petition that states, "We the people request that the Island County Commissioners do what needs to be done to secure, protect, and defend the Greenbank Landing public access." There are 1,181 signatures on this petition. I would now like to ask for a show of hands among those present that support this petition. Honorable Commissioners, please secure, protect, and defend our Greenbank public access. Please do not barter away that which is priceless and irreplaceable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn.
All right.
I believe we had someone else who wanted to speak?
I think he said it all.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Just a reminder, we need your name and address for the record.
Irene Gansmo, 3604 Rivendell in Langley, but I'm up visiting my friends a lot up here in Greenbank. I have a document to read to cover some people that are out of town. We see this as a gross oversight on the part of zoning, planning, and health departments. There are regulations concerning setbacks of construction next to property lines. They seem to be enforced for some people and overlooked for others. There are state laws concerning vacating county roads which abut on a body of salt or fresh water. And why weren't there stop work orders placed on any of the violations when they were discovered? In Seattle, when property owners were identified as encroaching on public easements in a park, they had to restore the public access and remove their alterations. We're hoping this is the time to step up to correct the inaction of the past by any means deemed necessary to restore the public access to Greenbank Road.
Thank you. I believe there was a gentleman in the back that wished to speak.
Dan Russell, 3150 Day Road, Greenbank. I have a statement, one from someone who couldn't be here, and a statement of my own as well. From Nate and Shantina Steele, 29069 State Route 525. We would like to make known to the Commissioners of Island County our support of the Save Our Beach campaign to continue public access to the beach at the end of Wonn Road in Greenbank. We feel that we, as a collective of citizens, need to protect our access to publicly owned lands and resources. And I'd like to address Mr. Montgomery's point that this piece of beach is not good for launching boats, because I've been launching a canoe there my entire life. I'm 29 years old. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, is that Marianne?
Marion Edane, Whidbey Environmental Action Network. I would like to address what I heard Dr. Montgomery say a few minutes ago. What sounded like a carrot and a stick, or a threat and a promise. On the one hand, an offer to provide money and support fundraising for an alternative access. On the other hand, the statement that he would not be so generous if he spent his money on attorneys. it's one of those things that this is the place, as Mr. Russell pointed out, this is where Greenbank started. An alternative sounds like a good resolution to it. I believe it is not a good resolution. This is the one place where that road exists and has existed since the 1850s, as far as we know. Please do pass the resolution as written, and while more information is useful, I don't believe an alternative route would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Tom Gunn. I live a block away from the access. I feel partly responsible for this because I mentioned to Glenn that a wall had gone up on Wonn Road. And Glenn said, he can't do that. We've been using that public access for 40 years. Now, a lot of people looked at Dr. Montgomery and they mentioned, does he have 100 million? Does he have 1 billion? Nobody knew for sure. But the general consent was that Glenn didn't have a chance. It's my impression from studying history that people, not systems, make the difference. And as Sam Houston said, one man with courage constitutes a majority. All the way through this battle, Glenn has been doing his research and putting the facts down and pressing people who wished he would just go away. I see this as a Magna Carta moment. And the challenge is not to find the compromise offered by Dr. Montgomery. There's a reason that this was the first access. There is a reason this has always been the access. When this was first mentioned and the reporters called me up, I said there's good people on both sides. I hope they can find a compromise. And the compromise, I imagine, was the way that the Indians used it as a low-impact trail from one body of water to another. It seems to me that what we have before us is a challenge, and that you need equal access to resources to protect them. And to me, the challenge is beyond finding this compromise. To me, the challenge is access to resources and rebuilding those resources toward where they were when we first arrived. And so my challenge to Dr. Montgomery and his resources is this. Let's rebuild the salmon runs they were the way they were when he and I first came to Whidbey Island 50 years ago. Let's understand that nobody can own the shoreline. Nobody can own Puget Sound. Nobody can own all the trees or all the crab. We have a big future in front of us. People make the difference. People like Glenn and people like you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Anthony Guido, and I reside at 715 Bakken Road, Greenbank. Some of the things I've seen with this issue coming along about the answers that the public's received, it's been pretty slow coming. When will we get our answers is one of my questions. The second thing is nobody realizes where that access is a safety figure for anybody out there boating. If you look at where Freeland Launch is, which is pretty much useless at anything but a high tide, you have to go all the way to Coupeville for an access. It's dangerous during the windstorms because you've got to beat the weather. We use that area to an access to go shrimping, winter blackmouth fishing, clam digging. A lot of people that have private property down there are able to have their mooring out there to put their boats out there for access. It's the only access we have that has good deep water. And my fear is if you close that access off to us, that the landowner will turn around and put a big dock out there for his own private use and his own yacht, and closes public off to what should be free for everybody to use. It's just kind of my opinion about what I'm seeing going on, but I just don't see that being an access area for somebody to have a private yacht out there on his own private yacht dock. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of this meeting. Commissioner Price Johnson, do you have any introductory comments? This is in your district.
I would move that we accept resolution C-3409, and then we can have discussion on the table.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve resolution C-3409. Some comments and discussion?
I'm really pleased with the tenor of today's meeting. I think that it's incumbent upon all of us to be respectful of disagreements and of each other and know that we can work together to find a solution. And so thank you very much for the demeanor that you're demonstrating today, and also I understand it was on Saturday. I commend you all for that, and I think that that's speaks well for our community. And I also respectfully acknowledge Dr. Montgomery's offer, but I feel that we as county commissioners are compelled by state law not to abandon this or any other road end. It's incumbent upon us to do the right thing and establish one way or another, get judicial decision on this matter. So that's the reason that I'm bringing it forward. I think it's been allowed to fester long enough, and we need to get a determination and move ahead. I believe that we will be able to assert the public access that's there. I think it's an important piece of our community, and has been historically, and I feel a responsibility to ensure that it's there for the generations to come.
Coming from Camano Island, I've driven down there. I went down Wonn Road. I looked at the site, but I didn't do a view of what's on either side, like 1 mile north, 1 mile south. Is there any property at all that would lend itself to some kind of public access, parking, maybe even to the extent of a park that you're aware of?
No,
I'm just ignorant about the geography there.
To the north is Hidden Beach, and I don't know that that's used for any kind of boat launching. There's not a ramp there. Perhaps kayaks utilize it. It's fairly shallow and goes out a ways. I know that there's been historically some shellfish collection that's been going on out there.
How about property that would be available for purchase?
There's nothing that comes to mind that is a low bank access such as this. If you're talking about a strategic or
Right. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to really reiterate what Helen Price Johnson just said, and I'm sorry it takes so long to get through all of these things. This is fairly new to me too, having just been on this job not quite 3 months, and I had hoped things could go a little faster, but I realized that there is a long process involved, and that we have been trying to address all of the issues and take a look at everything from the legal standpoint, and have respect for the folks that use the beach access as well as the property owners. And there are so few places in Washington State where people can get to the beach. We didn't do, like other states have done, Hawaii, California, Oregon, what we could have done to allow access. So if there's anything we can do within the law to be able to provide that, we would like to see that as a board. So I think going through this process is the right thing to do.
I would also, I would welcome Mr. Montgomery's documents if he has additional information that would be helpful. Be really happy to see that. the whole idea here is to have the truth win out, so whatever documents you have, I would welcome them and appreciate your offer.
And just maybe one more comment. While we go through this process, I think it is important to remember to respect people's property, and that we should try to remember our manners about how we treat people and their property. People feel as though they're right, and until we make a decision about how we're going to access the beach, or if we are going to be able to remember to treat people with dignity and their property, the folks that live around there.
This won't be a quick fix. It's been a long time in coming. It'll take a long time for this action to play itself out. And so I would, I've never seen a process that instigated legal action that was rapid. So I would urge your patience as it unfolds.
So we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution C-3409. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Yeah.